everyone. In this short lecture, I want to talk about something that affects every researcher, every graduate student, and honestly, every scientist who's trying to keep up with today's overwhelming volume of published work. And that is the problem of abstract dependence. The assumption that you can fully understand a research study just by reading its abstract. And here's the truth. You can't. Not really, not reliably, not consistently, and definitely not in a way that produces strong scientific communication. Abstracts are designed to get your attention. They highlight novelty, emphasize significance, and frame the study in the most compelling terms possible. But they often leave out critical details. Details about methods, limitations, sample size, statistical nuance, or unexpected findings that simply don't fit neatly into a 150-word summary. And yet, in the age of information overload, many researchers only skim abstracts and move on. This creates a serious disconnect between what a study claims and what it actually demonstrates. Abstracts are not neutral summaries. They are rhetorical documents. They are written after the full paper is complete, and they are written strategically, often only to satisfy journal expectations, attract reviewers, and emphasize a strong narrative arc. As a result, abstracts may oversimplify complex methods, overstate the strength of findings, minimize limitations, promote results that seem more conclusive than they really are, and they may omit contradictory or secondary outcomes. So when a researcher relies on abstract alone, they're relying on a distilled, polished, and sometimes very selective version of the truth. This matters not just for students, but the whole scientific community. When researchers summarize literature based only on abstracts, several things can go wrong. First, misinterpretation. You might assume the study used a randomized control design when it actually used a small observational sample. Or you might cite a significant effect that disappears once you read the full results. Second, propagation of errors. When one inaccurate summary enters the literature, others repeat it. Before long, an entire body of research gets misrepresented simply because readers never dug into the full text. Third, weak literature reviews. As you move into your doctoral level writing, your credibility depends on your ability to understand the nuances of the research. Abstract-based summaries flatten that nuance and create gaps in your reasoning. And finally, ethical concerns. Summarizing without deep reading can unintentionally slip into patch writing, misrepresentation, or inaccurate paraphrasing, all of which undermine scientific integrity. We are living in a time when there is more scientific information available than ever before. AI tools can summarize text instantly. Search engines can surface thousands of articles with a single query. But this makes your ability to read deeply even more important. Deep reading allows you to evaluate the appropriateness of the study design, understand whether the analyses truly support the conclusions, and identify limitations the abstract never mentions. It also helps you recognize nuance in the findings, determine whether the study should actually influence your argument. In other words, deep reading protects you from being misled, and it protects the scientific record from further distortion. In your own writing, whether you're preparing a summary, a literature review, a proposal, or even working on your dissertation, your responsibility is not just to repeat what the authors say about their work, but also understand it well enough to explain it accurately. That means reading the introduction for context, the methods for rigor, the results for precision, and the discussion for interpretation. And it means developing the skill of crafting your own evidence-based summary rather than leaning on the abstract's framing. So next time you open a research article, resist the temptation to stop at the abstract. Treat the abstract as an invitation, not a conclusion. It's the doorway into the research, not the explanation of it. Deep reading takes more time, for sure. It requires more attention, but it also leads to clearer thinking, stronger writing, and more trustworthy science. And that is exactly what this course and your future work demands.